look like a younger man. I'm just telling you that. That's all.
Definitely, you look young. By the way, guys, we are
Really
live.
is.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know where you've said you were live and I'm on camera.
Yeah, I was just flirting with PJ over here. Sorry.
Well, it's good to see the young PJ on screen.
Yeah, the young PJ. Yeah, see, the picture looks like a more aged man. More profile.
But it's good to see you guys. I hope you guys are doing well.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, doing good.
That's good. And everybody in chat in YouTube land, thank you for coming. Please hit those likes, share the show. Glad to have you here. I don't know if you guys saw the votes already. 21 votes. Globey McGlobeFace is dishonest. 52% say yes, 38% say no, and maybe 10%. What do you guys vote for?
I
vote for him
I thought he won't be honest.
I put yes.
Well, yes,
he's dishonest.
Because if you watch the debate, you would think, what? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, whatever answer dishonest was, I put that one.
Yeah. But I have to give it up
where that was different.
But I have to give it up to Witsit. He really kept his cool with this guy. Because I mean, as soon as he asks for something, Witsit gives it to him, and then he still denies that he even gave it to him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he was still kind to him and joking and all that. So shout out to Witsit. He did a good job.
Right on.
So are you guys ready? Or is there anything else you guys want to get out the way before we do this?
Well, I haven't seen it. So I can't say anything until I actually start watching it. So if anybody else has got anything to say, go for it.
Hey, that shit. Good. Good to see you.
Oh.
He's asking where we can see the debate. You know what, I'll stick the link in as well. Then you can watch it afterwards if you want to. But we're going to be reviewing it now. So there's the link for you, mate. Hey, Steve, what's up? I hope you all guys doing well. Okay. Do you guys even know Mr.
Globey?
I've heard of him.
I've heard the old Globey, but no, I don't know.
I've seen him before on a couple debates, and yeah.
I've certainly known his name.
All I have to say. Yeah.
Let's put it this way: if you had to team him up and T-Jump in a team, I think it would be the most unliked team ever on the internet because they both have the charisma of a rock.
Oh, you're being too nice.
That's cold.
But it's good to see. Hey, Skeptic, what's up? DJD, 4Jacks. I think there's a lot of people that popped in. Geo, James Mays. Thank you very much for your super chat. Really, really appreciate the $20 super chat. Good day, and to the panel, hello everyone. Thank you for coming.
Wow.
Really appreciate it. That's a good start to the show. Thank you very much. Okay, but yeah, like I was saying, those are the two guys I wouldn't like to ever debate because I would get so frustrated with their dishonesty. It's like insane. Show. There we go. Thanks, James Mays. You rock, man. Blessings. Okay, are you guys ready to start or?
Sure.
I'm ready.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Because I know Witsit is invited to come on tonight as well, so maybe he will show up. That'd be great if he does. Because I am saying he's picked up his game a lot, guys. So I have to give ups to PJ. To PJ, yeah. To Witsit.
I like Witsit.
Props,
props PJ. You props to PJ because Witsit's doing better.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Too right.
Okay, let's do this. Oh, I have to say we have been having some internet issues lately for some odd reason. Not sure why.
You're not the only one.
It was working perfectly now before the stream. It's 8:46. I'm just gonna.
If you're a web designer, here are 4 Wix.
Web designer, thank you. I think if you're a web designer, you don't need to use Wix. You'll just use the program you're using all the time. Okay. There we go.
Let Austin speak for a second.
Okay, can you guys hear this?
That everything is
Yeah.
working.
Okay, cool. Hey, Luch and Jeff.
Luch says, according to all Globers,
Hey, Austin.
Witsit is really, really dumb. That's not saying much, though, is it? From all Globers, Luch. Come on.
I could
Let's
say
just-
the same. I could say the same about Globers, like.
Exactly. Exactly.
You see,
He's a
they
very-
they do this.
He's a very
They have-
intelligent guy. He's a very intelligent guy.
Yeah, Witsit. I'm not going to definitely say he's not dumb. He's just
No.
he's got a photographic kind of memory, so he does kind of speak faster than he really thinks. So to a lot of people that don't understand what he's saying, they say word salad, but that's because he uses big words for them.
Yep,
I
that's
believe he's
exactly
Irish
it.
as well.
That's exactly it. I've watched multiple of debates with Witsit, and they always say word salad, and all the people in the audience are typing word salad when it's like, no, you just don't understand the words that are coming out of his mouth. That means you're
Exactly.
retarded.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
he reads from his head like out of books, like, and a lot of people that they take that weird. I always thought it was interesting talking to him.
He's saying it's just flowing from his mind straight to his tongue. It's just coming out that fast. You know what I mean? It's just, it's not word salad. They just don't understand it.
Hey, Sovereign Soul, good to see you, man. November just came in as well. Good to see you guys. But yeah, but that's all they do because they don't understand the words he's saying. Therefore, it's word salad.
Don't use big wordy words I don't understand.
Yeah. Why do you think I always have
How
to
dare
break
you.
it down to crayon munching level for the guys on paint?
Anything more anything more than one syllable and one syllable and one vowel, then that's too much for them.
Maybe I should have worded
One vowel and two
my
syllables.
maybe I should have worded my words differently with the chat with your mocked, where he asked are Globers dumb, and I said no. Maybe I should have said some of them yes, because there are really dumb ones out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not saying names, Sean Hawkins, but hey Angela, good to see you, and SI man, good to see you. Okay, so let's carry on. He's going to present now.
Sean, you are dumb, but you make up for it in humor. You know what I mean?
That guy is pathetic, literally
Yeah.
pathetically dumb.
Thank God for comedy.
You working?
Yeah, I guess I have no idea. Everything's just
Now?
been crazy.
Okay. Well, if you're working now,
Exactly.
let's restart your timer.
Oh,
And-
guys,
Welcome to Modern Day Debate, everybody. Tonight,
we're on 33 viewers. Okay, we're up 34. Thanks. I almost thought, just what's going on? Is it some kind of Mason thing going on? Yeah, but we're all good
Well, you're
now,
the one
guys.
that keeps
Hit the
calling it
likes,
out.
though. But just hit the likes, though. I mean, does it hurt for the people to hit the likes?
No,
Nope, not at all.
they're just spiteful.
Yeah.
we're going to be debating Globe versus Flat Earth. First 10 minutes is on the floor for you, Austin Witsit.
Oh yeah, so I saw, make sure Austin doesn't go off subject. My experience is that normally that happens the other way around, but anyway, the subject is the Earth actually what we've been told, and that is the globe model. What always happens is people want to focus specifically on sphericity because they can't defend the vast majority of the model, but it's a model, it's a package deal. It says it's tilted, wobbling, spinning, revolving around the sun as a sphere, and that it's also curving. So here's a quick deception timeline of how this kind of was born. The idea was born. And then here's the government's involvement with a bunch of stuff. Purely coincidental.
And I have to say, a lot of I don't know what was going on with this debate, that they had a lot of technical issues. A lot.
I was just gonna say his mic is shocking a minute.
Yeah.
I
And,
thought maybe it was the internet.
and it happened a lot, especially when Witsit was at a very important thing to say. So I don't know if it was on purpose or whatever, but it happened a
Convenient.
lot. Especially when they tried to share something, they had problems.
Globe deception.
Timeline. Operation
The
High
veil
Jump. High
being
Jump. I
covered.
was going to say to Witsit, High Jump's 2 words, mate. That's why it does that right underneath. But High Jump, I think that they spelled it as 1 word there.
They did.
NSA founded. Okay, so he says 1945 Operation Paperclip, 1946 Operation High Jump, 1947 CIA founded. Ooh. Mars Project 1948, NSA founded 1952, Operation Deep Freeze 1955, Dew System 1957, NASA founded 1958. Arctic Treaty, 1959. DIA founded, 1961. 1962 is Operation Fishbowl. JFK moon landing, 1962. Space Treaty, 1967. I don't know why they need a space treaty. No one's going to space.
Just in
Gus
case.
Grissom,
Yeah,
Huh?
it's just in case, isn't it? Just in case. Just
1967.
in case they break through that barrier. Yeah.
Exactly. And then 2001 Space Odyssey, 1968. And then 1969 so-called moon landing. Weird how that came a year after the Space Odyssey, and Daniel Kubrick was very involved there. Really odd.
Stanley Kubrick.
Stanley
Mhm.
Kubrick, sorry.
It's
Norris.
Daniel Kubrick. Is that his cousin? Is it?
Was that a Freudian slip?
Daniel, yeah, his real name was actually Daniel, guys. I don't know if you guys knew that. Just checking. Stanley Kubrick, guys. And then the Blue Marble was there.
Mhm.
Okay.
My goodness.
Still muted. Okay, that's working again.
What is going on? That's better. So, okay. Jeez Louise. Anyway, so it's a package deal basically is the point. So here's a deception timeline. We don't have time to go through this, but you can take a screenshot. Pretty telling. All the intel agencies being founded right after we went and took a little trip to Antarctica. But it's just a coincidence, all of it's a coincidence. So heliocentrism has never been proven, and it is a religion. And I know that that's like a triggering word, but it's a belief system built upon the doctrine of men that requires faith.
And you guys can stop anytime. Just tell me when to stop if you have any.
I'm saying no, he said it's a religion. I'm just saying it's true though. Exactly.
Yeah, it's a true
what he said.
statement.
It's a religion. Yeah, and he said it's triggering. That's true as well, but it's true.
Exactly.
And blind belief. And that's what this is, right? It doesn't require it be about a deity. So here is physicist George Ellis, one of the people that told the truth about this, which is I could create a spherically symmetrical universe with Earth center, and it would answer all cosmological data, right? But we choose the one that we believe in based on philosophy, but a lot of people try to hide that fact, right? And so that kind of brings us into the first part, which is the Earth actually moving. And the claim is that the Earth is spinning 1,037 miles per hour east at the equator. That's the tangential speed. You have the angular speed of 15 degrees per hour. And so it's a very specific motion claim, and that it's actually wobbling 3 to 4 different wobbles, depending on the source you look at. And of course, you can't even replicate something actually simultaneously moving 4 different wobbles, but whatever. So these are the supposed motions. And we're tilted, wobbling, spinning, and then we're orbiting the sun 66,000.
I just have to say, they don't like this 666 when you pointed out to the Globies. They say that's not true.
Did you see when it fight the flat earther were on about it on that other debate?
Oh yeah, they're saying no, that it's wrong, it's false. And then Nemos brings it out from NASA saying, you see?
Wow.
That was a bad debate.
In the end.
Wow.
It all adds up to it all indicates it's 666 in the end, whether you have to take away numbers or whatever, it adds up to it.
Exactly.
It's there. It's always there.
But that debate, I wanted to do it until I watched it. It's like, no, that was a shit show. And I mean, I was supposed to be on that debate. I'm glad I wasn't, because wow, that was quite hectic.
1,000 miles per hour while we fly through space. Here is someone writing a biography about Einstein. No physical experiment ever proved that the Earth is actually in motion. Here's Einstein himself telling you that all terrestrial experiments were a negative result. That means any experiment on the Earth can't detect that the Earth is moving around the sun. And if you believe in the current model, you have to believe that you can never actually measure, detect, or prove that it's moving around the sun. Anyone that doesn't agree with that disagrees with their model, and therefore
I just want to correct someone here. Abdev, if the axis wobbles, it changes. Theodore, it isn't there. Well, Theodore, I think he's saying therefore. It isn't 666. Yes, you have a rotational axis that always stays the same.
Yeah.
Didn't you know that?
Yeah. What was it? Yeah, no, Luke said, did you say that if you take away numbers, it's still 666? I mean, like the degrees that the Earth's tilt and that, if you take that away from, is that how you do it? You take it away from Hold on.
Yeah, you
the
take away
remaining
it's the remaining that
degrees,
gives
yeah.
triple six.
Yeah, you take it away from the remaining degrees, then it gives you 666. Yeah. So I'm right enough by saying that, Luch. Yeah.
Exactly.
We wouldn't even be really debating at that point. You're going to say that also there's a coordinate system, right? A kinematic equivalence in the coordinate system. If the sun moves around the Earth or vice versa, it's equally valid. Here he is saying that terrestrial experiments. He's saying no optical experiment. Even though I believe that the Earth is revolving around the sun, I've come to the conclusion that no optical experiment, optics and physics is, of course, light, can actually detect the motion of the Earth. And light is our most precise form of measurement for motion. This comes back to Michelson-Morley, the most grossly misrepresented test by every single person that argues on behalf of the globe. They don't know what this test is actually about. They claim it debunked the ether. If you throw the ether out, you still have to explain why it didn't detect the motion of the Earth. And I could just pull Einstein up. I've done it 100 times. They keep saying it. Einstein said, without the ether, we still have to explain why we didn't detect the motion of the Earth. Then they invoked contraction. They invoked time dilation. They said that the Earth is free falling in a straight path through the bending and warping of space-time, and Newtonian mechanics was wrong, and that is required to explain it. And then the actual measurement that was received had to be an instrumental error. And Einstein said if it's not, then relativity is wrong and it collapses like a house of cards. Okay, so we're going to run through these, but this is them explaining. This is another quote explaining that, well, one option.
He does love the Michelson-Morley, though. That's one thing. But that's his way of pushing in the ether kind of thing. But we can hinge off that and say, yeah, exactly what he's saying with the null result proves that they couldn't pick the Earth rotating. So even if they didn't pick, quote unquote, the ether picking up the rotation, they also didn't pick up the Earth rotating. So therefore, they got no grounds to stand on to say that the Earth does rotate. So, it's not a bad argument though.
Of Michelson-Morley was that the Earth's not moving through space. Objective. That was one of the options. Edward Morley, Albert Michelson, Albert Einstein, Arthur Eddington, every physicist knew it. Hendrik Lorentz, they all knew that one of the answers was that the Earth is not moving because that's what we would expect if it wasn't moving. Here's Arthur Eddington saying that you have to actually claim the apparatus contracted to explain it, meaning there should have been a measurement, but the apparatus contracted just the right amount to make it look like the Earth's not moving. So long story short, this is him explaining it. We can go through this later if we have to, but here I'm explaining that if it's not instrumental error, relativity is wrong. And here he is saying it again 4 years later. This is really grossly misrepresented, so I threw this in here. This is all the replications since then that have shown the same results. That it is an instrumental error, and it's been consistently measured. In fact, the fringe shift changes with altitude. It changes with the periodicity of the sun and the moon, and the solar motion, meaning it changes throughout the year. So the actual sky dictates what your interference pattern is. This is a major problem because the globe claims that there should be no interference pattern because you can't detect the orbit of the Earth. So
that's also true. Just because there is an interference pattern also debunks the globe, which is also correct, because they say there should be nothing. And even if there's a touch of interference pattern, which should prove that, yeah, it's not the Earth that's making the gyroscope show that 15-degree hour drift. It's probably something else. That's called validation and invalidation. So if you're claiming a gyroscope causes Earth to be rotating, and it showed, hey, hang on, we're not supposed to see any, based on Michelson-Morley and everything, we're not supposed to see this, then it means your Earth's not rotating. So by default, it means there's something else causing it.
Yeah.
You guys have anything to say?
Yeah, I think you got
that. That actually refutes heliocentrism on space right there. And this is Einstein saying everything occurs on the Earth as if the Earth's in a state of rest. So as long as we can be on the same page, there's a belief that the Earth is actually orbiting around the sun, but you can't verify it. You can't prove it. Everything's going to happen on the Earth as if the Earth is in a state of rest. There's a kinematic equivalence, means any motion you see in the sky could equally be explained if the Earth is stationary. And that's what the model says. Anyone representing the model that says anything other than that are misrepresenting the model and not being honest.
Yeah, that's also one thing. I don't know if you guys realize he does bring up the kinematic model a lot. Why is it appearing to me like the Globies don't know what the kinematic model is?
I don't think. Yeah, I was going to say I don't think they do.
Well, they claim they've got a model and they don't realize that they haven't got a model. So
yeah,
but
I mean, when he tries to but when he tries to explain the motions of the universe kind of thing, you can explain it with a kinematic model, which means the Earth is geostationary. It's like the globers just don't know what that is. It's really weird. Do they think even the globe as a model was always just heliocentric? No, it started out geocentric, and then they moved it over to heliocentric.
Of course, it was got to start off geocentric. You know what I mean? It has to. If that's what you're observing, things moving around you, then it's got to, isn't it?
Exactly. So I think that's very interesting. That's something I've picked up on. It's like they don't even try and rebut against the kinematic models. It's like they don't know what it is, in other words.
So, and then of course the rotational claim we can get into as well, but the pendulum doesn't work. The ring laser gyro doesn't work, and we can get into specifics of that. So motion's never been truly verified other than reifying it and begging the question. And of course, the big one here is that the Earth is a sphere with a radius of 3,959 miles, means that it's curving at a certain rate. I think I am like 5 minutes in. So if you have the radius value here, and everyone knows what that is, the distance from the center of a circle or a sphere, then the Earth's going to curve at a certain rate. And for intents and purposes, up to about 1,000 miles, that's roughly 7.98 inches per mile squared. It actually gives the globe the benefit of the doubt. It actually predicts less curvature than the globe actually does. So that is beneficial to the globe proponents if we're trying to see if there is curvature for all observations under 1,000 miles. Now, what we know in reality is that the horizon is not a physical place. And the way this all started was we were told boats disappear over the curve of the Earth. That's how we know the Earth's a ball. Then we went out and we found out that no, the boat looks like it disappears, but when I pull out optics, I can see the boat again. So guess what they did? They moved the goalpost and said, but no, eventually you can't bring it back. Well, yeah, you're changing what you said. So let's start with step one.
That's so true.
Definitively, you can prove
that is so true.
Of course.
They do move the goalposts. They love doing that because they get shown, they make a claim and then they get shown wrong. And then they make something, they add a tail to it. And they say, but you see, now you can't do this. So therefore you're wrong. It's like, dudes, your claim was that boats vanish bottom up over a horizon. And your horizon is supposed to be about 3 miles away. Okay? Now we go and we take something like a camera or a telescope and we zoom in and we see, no, the boat didn't go over the horizon. It's still there. It just passed our resolution limit. Then they say, oh, yeah, but then we move it over to this and say you still see bottom obstruction further away. Therefore, you guys can't explain it. We just literally just explained what you just said was impossible. So they move the goalposts. And then when you explain to them, but, there's such thing as limiting angles and foreshortening, kind of thing, they just can't accept it, which is really sad, actually. And that's where it comes where I say they're very dishonest.
Yeah, riff raff, boats proof flatter. I get you. Absolutely.
That the boat appears to disappear, but actually you can bring it back. It's not because of the curve of the Earth. So therefore, boats can disappear in the distance despite it not being curve of the Earth. Now the horizon moves around. It's not actual. It's just where we got the word horizon was horizontal. It's a vanishing point in the distance. Everything in the sky converges down. The ground converges up. A basic perspective, we see that the horizon is an optical diffraction limit based on our angular resolution, and it's just an optical place in the distance. And it changes based on atmospheric conditions, etc. This is very interesting. So if you actually look at the angular resolution limit of the human eye being about 1 arc minute, right, which is approximately between 0.02 and 0.03 degrees, and it gives you an angle of exactly 0.0217062 degrees of the human eye. When you take the angular resolution limit of the human eye and you actually multiply it by a certain wavelength of the typical conditions assumed of visible light, you can actually end up getting the exact radius of the Earth. So where things would fall.
What is up with this app dev, dude? So get a telescope and bring back the Eiffel Tower or Everest.
Oh, wow. Wow. Brilliant. That's brilliant. Never had that before.
How do we put this?
We don't see forever. Simple. We don't see forever. Oh, wow.
This staple close.
Are you paying attention?
This staple far away.
Mm.
This staple look
Oh.
big. This staple looks small. Actual size the same. Apparent size not the same. Eiffel Tower, hundreds of kilometers or thousands of kilometers away from me. Should I see something that's way past the resolution limit?
Not unless you've got eyeballs the size of the moon.
It's like
That might work.
expecting someone to see a hair strand on a piece of paper a kilometer away.
Good look at that.
Wow. I really don't get it when they say this. I don't get how they can ask that and not realize that that's just ridiculous reasoning.
Hey, Sav, what's up? Yeah, it's
What's
awesome.
going on?
How to pick up chicks.
I was just watching my neighbor. Do exactly that. It's beautiful. They put up a chicken coop a few months ago.
Oh, yeah.
And baby, we got more eggs than you can imagine. They're giving us eggs, man. I got 2 dozen sitting on my stove. They just gave me yesterday, man.
Eggs.
It's good to have you in, Matt, because you actually did the stream on this morning. I saw.
Well, that's what it was supposed to be. I'm going to actually do the second half tonight. I had a couple of Globeys show up, and it became quite exciting. If you haven't had a chance, go back and check that one out. I know it's a really long one, but I had a guy named Joe Cool come on, another guy claiming to be a PhD, and some other guy named Globe Lover Bob. Boy, was insane. It was insane. And they can't get through exactly what you're talking about right here. I was like, okay, you are in the thickest part of the soup that there is.
Exactly.
You're in the thickest part. Why? This is where all the moisture's at. This is where all the dust is at. This is where all the gases are produced. So you're in the thickest soup of the shit. So when you're looking laterally, you can't see as far as you can when you look up, mainly because of the fact you're looking through this thick soup of shit. It's the difference of looking through a window pane normally or trying to look through the edge of a window pane. Yeah. You know, there's too much in the way. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
And with the amount of shit actually physically in the ocean, that I don't think you could see as far either.
Yeah.
Got that mountain of garbage you got to look over.
But it's insane. I mean, no matter what you're going to present, you're always going to get the guys just, because they don't understand.
Well, they like you were showing with the foreshortening, right? So, like my thumb does not cover my face. Now my thumb covers my face. You can't see it, right?
Yeah.
So a 3-foot wave at a quarter of a mile away can obstruct a 250-foot tall object 25 miles away.
And that's not even to take into account the magnification due to the atmos and any other refractive properties and things. So, yeah, it's really insane. They just ignore everything optical and then try to say, oh, you guys are just speaking word salad.
That's when it got me. How do you say I don't understand big words without saying I don't understand big words? Word salad. And I admit a lot of times I'll listen to Witsit and I go, what the hell did he just say? Wait a second. I have to pause it, go back, listen to it again, and then break down the etymology of the words. I'm like, okay, this means, all right, I get it. And then I take that to my audience and I give it to them in layman's terms.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Best way to do it.
Exactly.
All below the resolution limit of the human eye, roughly 3 miles for a 6-foot observer, is exactly where the globe claims that the curvature of the Earth would start obstructing things. If you actually look at the math, it's exactly the same. And if you look right here, we have the equation on one of these pages. Oh, it's actually being hidden here. But it actually gives you, if you do the math and you assume spherical geometry is blocking it in the distance, it gives you 3,958.8 miles. And in fact, it matches up to like 10 decimal places, the exact supposed radius of the Earth. What a coincidence. angular
Where's
resolution
that,
limit of the eye can literally be reverse engineered, assuming the Earth's a sphere causing things to be obstructed, and you get the exact radius value, 3,958.8. That's a coincidence. If you're a globe earther, that's a coincidence. So anyway, we could get into that if we need to.
Oh,
and then I'm going to run through, I think I have like a couple minutes left. We'll run through some basic evidences. So all engineer, minute and a half. All
One thing I
engineering
also
uses
realized, Ryan loves to interject with Austin while he's busy speaking or something.
Maybe he doesn't get what he's saying either. He's got to slow him down.
I think he's
a moderator.
It is bias. Isn't it? I mean, he goes to them McGlobe after shows after. I mean, I don't think that's right. To be honest.
He did. He went to that one after you Flats, after you debated. Not last time, not time before that, I think.
Wow,
he went to one of them. Yeah. He was
I don't
there
think
with FTFE and that.
I'm sorry, PJ, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, he was not FTFE, he was there with Mike Reed and that. Yeah, he was. Yeah, carry on, so
they don't understand what a moderator is. The moderator's not even understanding. You're a referee. Okay. You're not on either team. You're calling the plays. You're calling the fouls. You're calling all the obstructions. Okay. That's your job, regardless of who is doing it. You have to be impartial. You can't just go
unbiased. Yeah.
This is one thing I've seen with him and that Amy when Amy was doing the moderating as well. I always thought she was very biased, but when I look at Ryan, I think he's equally biased because a lot of the times the people are debating, and he would even that one with now FTFE and them, that shit show of a thing, and Ryan would stop Nemo's and what's the name from talking, but let FTFE and Ozian speak.
Yep.
Or the guys from the Flatzoid's making a point. He says, "No, stop, Ozian must speak," and Ozian didn't even want to say anything. You know what I mean? It's like, what the hell? But that's
bizarre. But yeah, it's obvious. There's obvious bias. I mean, you can see that.
Definitely.
And like I say, you need to be neutral. I could moderate. I could sit there biting my tongue going, "Oh, fuck, Flatzoid, don't do that," or anything else like that. But as long as it's in the purview of the debate, leave it the fuck alone. The only time you jump in is when there's people talking over each other, somebody talking out of turn, interruptions, that kind of thing. Somebody wanders off point. That's all you have to do. And you can't do that if you're not paying attention. If you're over playing with your buddies in the chat or playing a video game, you're not paying attention to what's actually going on, and you cannot be a good moderator or a referee, if you will.
Exactly. Yeah, agreed.
100%.
And I'm so happy Witsit brought up planar surveying because he totally schooled McGlobeFace on this, as in like obliterated him.
In survey, which is neglects any notion of a curvature up to 100 square miles. Then we do it in segments. That's 66 feet in each direction of curvature. Yet we have to assume the Earth is flat to actually build things. So when people say still no flat Earth evidence right after this presentation concludes, they would be neglecting all actual engineering in the real world. Specular reflections require a flat surface. You can't replicate one without one. If the water was convex or concave, you wouldn't have that because you would have a diffused reflection. We have them over dozens of miles. Here's the horizon constantly moving, proving that it's optical. We have long distance laser tests. And here is a very interesting one. Let's see what GlobeFace says about this. So on a globe, the horizon is going down and away from your feet in all directions. It's a globe. But as we increase in altitude, the horizon rises with us. So as I get higher, the ground should be getting further and further away from my feet, down and away from me. On a plane Earth, it would rise with us. And that's quite literally what we see.
That's one thing I got to say again, guys. And I think Witsit, you also have to catch up on this. The horizon rises relative to eye level, mate.
Relative, yeah.
You have to put that word relative in there, especially for the globies.
And into always slightly below eye level as well, because you're X amount of feet above surface.
Exactly, because that's why I said it's relative. Because the anti-flat earthers love to strawman the argument and say, "Oh, but look, I can use my theodolite app and show it's below my eye level." You understand?
Yeah.
Because you are saying words and they're going to strawman it and say, "Oh, but you're saying it's to your eye level, and look, it's underneath."
Right.
Where that's why I say relative to eye level, which means it's not perfectly eye level. It follows you no matter your altitude, but it will always be around your eye level vicinity. So I think yeah.
Look, I'm saying Luke's is saying on a flat plane and the atmospheric conditions are good, we should be able to see several thousands of kilometers away. That's pretty much over 1,000 miles away. And we are absolutely not that.
Do you know how angular size works, Luke? Do you know how angular size works, Luke? Can you, let's see, let's put it this way. Can you see the Burj Khalifa 200 kilometers away?
I don't even know what that is.
That's
I can't see it.
It's a very, very tall. I think it's the tallest building in the world.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
I wonder if we're going to account for curvature when that Saudi Arabian fella builds that big 100-mile long wall city. How much curvature are they going to account for that? Or are they going to gouge a facet into the curve? I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's insane.
Out of your silly comments, that is one of the most silliest you've said so far, dude.
I mean, look on screen here. Look at this wave here, guys. Luke, this is for you. Look at this wave here where my mouse is. Okay? How are you going to know the actual size of that wave? You can't. But you can work out its angular size. Now, let's go put my mouse back there. Look at the angular size of that wave. Can you guarantee me that that wave is the same size as this wave, or large or smaller? No, you can't. Because you're just looking with angular sizes. And this is the same with the sun, guys. You can't claim the sun is an actual size because you don't actually know how far it is. So you only know its angular size.
And this is something that'll messes people up. When I lived out in Death Valley, right? I had people come and visit. They brought their kids with them. And we're out walking around, exploring and stuff. And this kid, he's with me. He's about 12. He goes, hey, he says, let's go look at that cave. And I was like, okay. He goes, yeah, it's just right over there. And I was like, all right, let's start going toward it. So we started walking to it. And we walked for about 10 minutes. And there's the cave still just right over there. Just, because he's not used to being able to see that far. Right. So he's using East Coast perspective in a West Coast dry environment. And it blew his mind. He says, how far away is that? And I said, well, it's just right there. Right.
Just right there. Exactly.
Oh, you were just being so cheap with them there by saying, oh, it's just right there. When you knew it's probably.
I thought it was funny. As soon as he said it, I thought, oh, yeah, I got fooled by that shit when I first moved here, man. Let's try it out.
So see if they get that right. And then I'm just going to wrap it up. We have long distance mirror flashes, radio waves. We could get into all the specifics later, but we have many different tests that have falsified the curvature of the Earth. If the surface of the Earth is not curving anywhere, what is it? So what we're left with is a stationary topographical plane.
10 seconds.
And yeah, so the empirical evidence requirement is on those making the claim that all of that's just an illusion, and actually the Earth is the exact opposite of what we see and use it as. So that's the burden of proof.
All right. Thank you so much for that there. And we will thank.
So what is your guys' thoughts on Witsit's opening presentation?
Not bad.
Yeah, he was all right. He did all right. Yeah, absolutely. Nothing
I
wrong
do
with
think it
that.
was good.
Flats, I'm just going to drop from StreamYard. I'll be in the chat, just in case if someone else wants to jump in. All right.
Okay. Short man. Thanks for coming, by the way. Appreciate the support.
Yeah. Thanks.
Short. But yeah, I think it was good. Witsit did a fantastic opener.
Oh,
But like I said, he's really polished his arguments lately, so big up to Witsit.
Austin for his opening statement there. Just remind everybody once again, we are going to be doing super chats at the end of our discussion. So if you have questions for either of our speakers, the earlier you get them in, the sooner they're going to be asked. So 10 minutes on the floor. Over to you, Globey. And
Hey,
thank you so
Nick,
much for being
you
here.
and Larry, what's up?
Sure. Thank you. All right, let me share my screen.
Ready when you are.
Yeah, guys, and just excuse Globey McGlobeFace. He really has a, like I said before,
He really
Yeah,
has
the
got a
charisma of a
McGlobe
rock.
face. He really has got a McGlobe face.
Yeah.
Globes don't have
What is your
faces.
That's true. That's true.
Well,
Globes don't have faces. They have surfaces, no faces.
That's so true. Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, it would be a globe.
Yeah.
I want to address real quick something Lou just said. He said no one's done it yet, but however in perfect conditions you could do that and nobody's done it yet. Yeah, a perfect condition. If you're underwater in an Olympic-sized swimming pool and you can't see the other end, you could perfect the condition by removing all of the water, and then perhaps you can see the people at the other end. But you can't
There we
remove
go.
the medium. I'm sorry, you're never going to remove it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Actually, great analogy, man.
Yeah.
All right, 10 minutes starting now.
All right, so we just listened to 10 minutes of zero flat Earth proof, which was expected. But here we go. We can actually demonstrate the Earth's curvature and measure it instead of talking about trying to falsify things like relativity and showing incorrect videos with drones flying that are not level.
What? Showing incorrect drone videos is not level. What has the level of the drone got to do with anything? His argument was showing the horizon rises relative to eye level. The higher you go up, it's still showing.
How does one measure curvature anyway?
You can't. But you heard him now. He made a claim. He's going to show demonstration and measurements for the curve, guys. Very bold claim. And it's not very clever of him to start off with 24-hour Antarctic sun, which has been falsified many times.
I had him bring that up last night. Somebody about, here's a video of the 24-hour sun.
Oh.
I'm like, watch it carefully, bro. Watch it very carefully. Pay attention to detail.
I mean, you can talk to actual people that's been there. They actually worked there. They say there is no such thing as seeing 24-hour sun. There's literally just sunlight, daylight. But that doesn't mean you see the sun for 24 hours. It's total bullshit. And that's why they have to fabricate it.
The Ellement should be equal. It should be equal. It should be a perfect freaking 8. But due to the fact that there's smaller circuits in the north and larger circuits in the south, the Ellement, whether you take it from the south or take it from the north, it's still going to show the exact same thing. That it's not even, and that's not possible on a sphere.
Yeah, and they like making excuses saying, it's just the tilt of the Earth that gives that. But the tilt's not going to change the angular size of the sun, which they claim should have no angular size change. It's really insane. They debunk themselves when they say that.
Yeah. Almost level, but we can get into that. We're talking about globe proof. We can look at very simple things that prove the globe. For example, 24-hour Antarctic sun for 4 months out of the year. Well, up to 6, depending on where you are. Impossible on a flat Earth for very obvious reasons. Now, flat earthers have just said.
Why is it impossible on a flat Earth, by the way, guys?
No idea.
Because he says so.
Yeah,
probably.
Okay. But anyway, there is no such thing as 24-hour sun. That's literally a global claim, which doesn't exist. That's why I have to fabricate videos to make it exist. 24-hour daylight exists, not sun. And we can demonstrate it just as well on the flat Earth if we wanted to. It's called reflection.
Said, no, these are all fake, and come up with various reasons to claim they're fake, all of which have no bearing at all.
Proof that they are
fake. Go through those one by one. You guys like?
Exactly. Yeah, prove that they are fake.
Star trails, very simple. Second proof of the globe. Everyone in the southern hemisphere sees the same star trails looking south.
I don't think these guys have ever been allowed to play outside when they were kids. I think they were made to stay in the house and play with fucking blocks. You know,
I mean,
I'm serious, man. It's like I spent my entire childhood outside and a lot of it in the water. Okay, so you learn physics as a kid, you know. They got kids now to where they're not allowed to do anything anyway. But I mean, my hero was Evil Knievel. I was going to be a stunt motorcycle guy, man. And I practiced with my bicycle and I jumped over garbage cans and all kinds of cool stuff. And I wiped out and I learned physics the hard way. You know, you learn a lot of shit like that. And these guys, the way they talk, it's like, holy cripe, were you just kept in your room with a box of Legos your entire life? Have you never experienced anything? And then you come up and talk nonsense and you don't have any real world experience of any kind to speak of.
Yeah. But I mean, let's look at the Star Trolls argument now. How many times do we have to explain to them? You don't see all those places at the same time. You have something called time zones.
And there's more of them in the south than there is in the north. That's curious.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
like
if I'm looking at night, yeah, let's put it this way. If I'm looking at the nighttime, if I'm looking at the stars at nighttime, yeah, and for instance now in South America, it's daytime while I'm nighttime. How do you expect us to see the same stars at the same time? I mean,
Exactly.
even in Australia, it's a bit difficult to get the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, what
I love that. They say, oh, look, these three people could all see the same thing at the same time. And I'm like, no, they can't. That's impossible. What are you talking about? It's not nighttime in all those three places at the same time. And one star constellation is not going to be directly in front of each person looking directly south. Otherwise, that means there's three different ones, man. It only has one position. It's all.
They don't think at all.
But yeah,
how much time do we have to
a buddy of
debunk
mine.
this?
I tried to explain to a buddy of mine. I'm like, okay, so every day I see a car go by my house, right? It goes by and it's headed north up toward the main road. It's going north. Now, if I go across the street and get my mail and I watch that car go by, it's still headed north, but now it's going from my left to my right. Before it was going from my right to my left. Holy shit, my road must be a globe.
And you have a video about that, don't we, Michael?
Yep.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and it's just simple demonstration. It's a brilliant video. Do you know what I mean? But what Sovereign was just saying about when we were younger, not being out and all that, and people nowadays, are they just stuck in the rooms playing Lego? It makes you think, because it's not why they don't get things like that, the physics and stuff like that, because we were, well, definitely, that describes me as a kid. I was out doing things. I was at the water all the time. I lived by the seaside. I was doing exactly what he did on his bike and stuff like that, diving through gardens. I was a little ninja sort of thing when I was a kid. So we learned that way about physics and stuff the hard way, like falling down and stuff, you know? So I get that. So it just makes you think, is that why? Is that why they don't get it as much? Maybe because they're indoors all the time? I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's a thought, isn't it? It's a thought.
Yeah, exactly.
Point of rotation called Sigma Octantis is the star closest to the center of that rotation. Doesn't matter where you are. I've done this observation myself on TikTok with 2 live observers, one in Australia.
That is the irony. I've done this observation myself on TikTok. You didn't do it yourself then, were you? You were on TikTok. Oh, man. And you had 2 different people observing. Oh, man.
Now, how could that constellation be in the same place at the same time, or 2 places at the same time? That's ridiculous.
But listen to this. But just listen to what he's going to say.
Australia, one in South Africa, both looking south-southwest on their compass at the same exact moment in time and looking at the Southern Cross in the sky.
He says they're looking exactly the same time, south-southwest. So they're not looking perfectly south then?
No.
How can they both be looking south-southwest and them arrows are pointing nearly opposite to each other?
Does this guy know southwest is not south? It's
Well, and
south
the guy in Australia would be looking south by southwest while the other guy's looking southwest. Okay.
Yeah.
But you understand, he's literally not understanding south-southwest is not south. It's southerly direction. But let's say I look southeast and someone looks southwest. It's two different directions. We're still looking southerly, but it's two different directions.
There's a whole lot of degrees between south and west. Okay.
Southwest is between south and southwest. Simple as that, isn't it?
Oh, man.
Right. I mean, that's just that right there. Even the little drawing is designed to be deceptive.
Yeah,
because you know that they're not both looking directly south. That's ridiculous.
Exactly.
Wow.
Taking into account magnetic declination.
And the fact that he thinks this somehow is an argument shows he's really stupid. I'm sorry to say it, but if you can't think for yourself that looking south-southeast or south-southwest is not looking directly south, I got no hope for him.
Maybe they transported a Globey from 2016 to now. Because this guy, I noticed that he brings up all these old debunked arguments that the Globies used to use on Facebook, you know, like 7 or 8 years ago. And it's like
that's a technique, though, Sovereign, you know, to keep us in a perpetual loop arguing the same crap.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
And did the guy realize that it looks almost like he's got the Southern Cross there? Can he see the directions of the Southern Cross are different? So they're looking from different locations.
Well, I got to say this about the Globies, man. This is it. And Sean Hawkins, hey, thanks a lot, bro. I like you harping on maps because I did a little bit of a dive into maps. And wow, what a freaking mess. If you don't believe me, look into the Royal College of Longitude. Wow, man.
Why do you think I'm harboring on him? Why do you think I'm harboring on him that not one map in history is 100% accurate?
That's right.
There's a reason for that.
I mean, you think about this, you know, well, stellar navigation, look, it's not that perfect, especially once you get past the point where you can't see the stationary North Star anymore. Okay.
Exactly.
And everything's moving, and they tried a number of different ways. They had to develop a timekeeping system that would actually work on a clock. So a pendulum clock wouldn't work on these ships because it's rocking all the time, right? And then they tried using lunar readings and all kinds. It was really quite a mess. It's really quite involved what they had to do. And they finally came up with this consensus, basically. Because I got to thinking about that. I mean, once you're out in the vast ocean, if you don't have a North Star anymore, how can you accurately know how fast or how far you've actually gone, or if you've gone anywhere? You know, there's a lot of problems involved there. And you find out that, yeah, that's exactly right, Flatzoid. The maps are pretty much good guesstimates. Is what we've got.
Yeah. I mean, maps have been quote unquote evolving for a reason. If it was perfect, you can just create one map and never need to worry about a map in your life again.
There you go. I mean, a map of my neighborhood never changes.
Yeah, but that's local.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's something that can
and guess how those local maps are done with cartography, which uses planar measurements.
Yeah. What kind of measurements? What kind
planar?
Of not globar? It's planar.
It shows you the planar measurements of the things that are accurate.
Right.
And those kind of things. This is over 90 degrees of difference on the flat Earth map, looking, you know, this way and looking this way. So declination doesn't really make up for that. It's about a 10-degree difference. So that's not an answer to this. This is impossible on flat Earth without invoking some sort of magic. Okay. Where it does work is on the globe. Because again, everyone in the South, right here, is looking south towards the center point of
wow. It's just insane.
rotation. Now, why are there 2 points of central rotation in the sky, man?
Okay, he just debunked himself now as well, because he's saying they look perfectly south on his globe. Is that what he's trying to say?
Yeah,
Yet he just had 2 people up not looking perfectly south. So you just debunked your own argument, mate.
I don't know, maybe because we have an axis.
Oh.
And those
it
2
gets
points
even worse on a
directly
ball
over
too,
those.
because those people are facing each other.
Exactly. That's what I say. It's there's so much wrong. This guy just doesn't get it. I don't know. But yet he brings it up as some kind of proof. Remember, his opening statement was, let's demonstrate the globe and give measurements for curve. I have not seen any yet. I'm seeing a lot of incredulity, but that's about it.
Axes, the center of axis of rotation. Okay. No explanation for this on flat Earth.
Keep telling yourself that.
Another simple one: sunsets. The sun sets at an angle to the south from your right shoulder to your left shoulder when you're staring west at the sunset. It sets to the south.
First of all, it always rises east and always sets in the west.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. If you looking west and it's setting, it's going to be in front of you, not on the right or left of you. You're looking at it west of you.
Where's my
This guy's a moron. And I can just turn around and therefore it will be on my other side. It's literally just how you stand and look at it, location based.
Everywhere south of the equator. It sets straight up and down at the equator and sets to the right or to the north of the equator. Doesn't matter what time of year, doesn't matter where the sun is relative to the observer, whether it's north of them or south of them. If you're south of the equator, the sun sets to the left. Now,
It doesn't set to the left. I can turn around and it sets to the right. Just literally turn around. Yes.
Just to show you're absolutely right, Flatzoid, because I'm of course the end of February right now, but I'm looking at my compass. North is that way, and I see the sun come down right there. That is west. So yeah, it's not to the right or the left of it. He's full of shit.
Yeah, this is based on a person that does, as he says, I did it myself on TikTok.
Yeah. How do you do it yourself on TikTok?
Oh man.
Or maybe he means he did a video about it on TikTok.
Yeah, that's what he said. It was he used other 2 persons, someone in Australia and someone in South Africa, and so therefore he did it. No.
It's impossible on a flat Earth, but the sun circles counterclockwise here. It could never.
Witsit looking at him like,
Africa
what's wrong with this guy?
or South America, it could never appear to be setting down towards the ice wall. It's impossible. Again, it doesn't matter where the sun is, north or south of you. Then we have things like southern flights, direct flights.
Oh, for fuck's
Qantas
sake.
64, for example.
They love bringing this one up, by the way.
Well, despite all else evidence, a flight that's it. One flight, that's all it is, and that means it's a globe. Holy sheep shit.
But then you know what? There's flights that totally debunk the globe as well. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You can't literally make your mind up based on flight plans. For all you know, they're not really giving you the whole truth on how they're even flying anyway. It's literally just programmed into how they're flying. And I mean, I even showed this with Wolfie when he was trying to show how they fly great circle routes or something. And when you look on his instrumentation, it shows on the computer is flying at an going around a curved, like following a great circle route. But when you look outside the window, the plane's not even banking; it's going straight. You see, it's like something's odd. It's easy to program something to say something when it's not doing something.
Well, didn't when Max Egan take that flight? His, they have a little flight map in the backrest when you're in an airplane, and he had a compass with him.
And do the same.
Yeah, exactly. Is it what it was showing on the computer screen did not match what the compass was doing, and when they mapped it out with the compass, it was a straight, direct route, just like we said. Man,
just like I'm saying, it's easy for it to say it's doing that, but it's not actually doing what it's saying.
Right.
It's just program.
That flies direct from Johannesburg to Sydney, 12-hour flight.
Okay, not Johannesburg, Johannesburg, Joburg, mate. Come on. Sorry, that's something that irritates me. Johannesburg, Joe. It's called Joburg.
Joburg.
That would be
Joburg.
Joburg, what's up? Jesus.
Why do they always butcher Joburg? I don't understand how they can butcher that. It's such an easy name to say. Joe.
Yeah. Well, people always, I can tell people that are not from Detroit because they call it Detroit. I'm like, no, man, it's Detroit. That's
Detroit.
Flight path here, even if you made it a straight line, which it's not because it flies out over the ocean, it's at least double the distance of this flight here, which is American Airlines 52 flight from Miami to.
And I also got to point out, guys, the azimuthal equidistant map or the Gleason's map is not a distance map.
Nope, it's a timepiece.
It's a time piece, exactly. It's not distance map. So these people that are trying to use not a distance map for distances are idiots.
Yep.
They don't know how to use a map in the correct manner.
Tel Aviv. Yet they're the same distance and flight time. Now, flat earthers will invoke magical air currents that whisk the plane faster one way versus the other. Yet they fly the same path there and back. So now you're going to say that the air currents have to be flipping over the same point of the Earth to try to.
What's going off with that globe? Like it looks like an egg.
It does look very distorted.
Yeah.
I think he's trying to show. Look! On the globe, it works perfect. Poor guy.
One way or the other, it's absolute nonsense. There's many examples like this where, as you would expect on a globe, it's symmetrical, right? These are at the same latitude, north and south, these two flights. You would expect them to be symmetrical. You would expect them to be the same distance and time. You would expect all that. And that's what happens in reality. Yet flat earthers have to invoke some magic that doesn't exist and they can't prove. Okay. Time check.
Oh.
Yeah, right now you're at 5.5.
All right. And last but not least, we're going to look at some Earth curve measurements. Okay, because why look at anything else?
Earth curve measurements. I laughed when I heard this first. I was like, what?
Not with them instruments, mate.
No.
Not with them instruments.
Reciprocal zenith angles is rubbish, guys. It's literally made up bullshit because they measure everything planar. There is no such thing as reciprocal zenith angles. The reciprocal zenith angles is them calculating curve off of planar measurements because they believe it's a globe.
Yep, the reification right off the bat.
Yeah, it's not hard to understand. There is no such thing as a measured curve. It's calculated just because of a belief.
Yep.
If you can just actually measure Earth's curvature. So we can use things called reciprocal zenith angles, which is this picture here on the right, in which case you have
a
measuring device here, theodolite, and a target on the other side. This is what it would look like on a globe, obviously. This angle here, A and B, would be...
Sorry?
Tangent to tangent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bullshit. It's what it is.
I think they first have to show everybody that you can have different divergent plumbs. Can you have divergent plumb bobs which have never been shown in reality?
No.
No.
Well, I can remember back in, I don't know, 2016 or something, some guy actually tested buildings to see if they were diverging, and they weren't.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. There is no such thing as diverging plumbs.
No, my buddy Johnny was over here. Now, he's not book smart, he's old country boy, and he's worked carpentry and construction like his whole life. He's around my age. And he heard him saying that, and he goes, "What?" He says, "I'll be goddamned if plumb is divergent from each other. There ain't no way." He says, "I know better." He says, "You get thrown off the job for thinking something like that." He got mad.
Exactly.
He got mad about it, man.
Exactly.
Well, it's logical. You know what I mean? It's simple, isn't it? They're parallel to each other. They ain't going to diverge, are they? And they say that divergence is parallel. It's just ridiculous.
It's crazy.
Something more than 90 degrees, and that's what we would expect on a globe. If this was flat, which you'd have to visualize, I don't have a picture for you, but those angles would be 90 degrees. So you can do this test over and over again, various locations, test it repeatedly, different weather, different locations, and measure these angles. And they should be 90 degrees on a flat Earth. Turns out they are never 90 degrees. They're always over 90 degrees. Okay, and we have this example right here, which is done by a survey.
You see, this is why he gets his information wrong. He gets it from Jesse Kozlowski. The last person you should be talking about by measuring Earth curve, mate. The guy literally does not measure Earth curve. He measures a flat Earth and calculates his globe belief system. That's all he does. I think the Witsit actually debated him once, and the guy had to concede to Witsit that, they have to make a lot of corrections, otherwise the radius would be too great.
Wow.
Yeah, literally. They have to make it fit their model. So they make a whole bunch of corrections to make it fit their belief.
Surveyor Jesse Kozlowski, and it measured 1 minute and 12 seconds of angle between the observer and the target over 7,300 feet. Okay. I'm sorry, it measured 1 minute 7 seconds. The expected measurement was 1 minute 12 seconds, according to the globe math at the current accepted radius of Earth. Okay. So he got very close, even considering refraction, which it's only just over a mile. Not going to be much refraction there, but if you include refraction, you're still within that margin of error here. And this can be done over and over again. There's a few examples here from Baron Rutledge, who does this all the time live. He's on TikTok. He shows these measurements. He shows them setting it up. He shows everything, right? Live. So this is an excellent way to go through it and actually just measure the curvature of the Earth yourself instead of claiming it's flat.
And
now, what flat earthers won't do is ever show a measurement of anything being flat.
Oh.
They just try to discredit the globe model, which never works, but they try to discredit the globe model, but they'll never actually just go and measure anything. And no laser test over lake is not measuring something. That's a laser test. That's light. Okay, and nothing was ever measured in those tests.
Okay. So what happens when you use surveyors measuring with lasers?
There's a rangefinder.
Well, yeah. It isn't a crosshairs on a site like a form of laser. So I mean,
they even have laser. Yeah, they use lidar and everything. They use lasers for measurements as well. Surveyors.
I mean, on my AR-10, I've got a laser. I've got a laser on my AR-10, and I've got a scope on there. Okay, and they're both they coincide. They coincide. Okay, the dot will show up if I turn the laser on. The dot will show up where the crosshairs are at.
Yeah.
Every time.
Wow. Yeah, it's insane.
So it's.
I mean, we've been through this before.
What's the difference
they-
in looking through the scope or using a laser to pinpoint a point? It's still a straight line. That's the point. Whether that straight line is optical, whether it's light, whether it's a piece of freaking wire, whatever, as long as it's a straight line of sight. That's what we're testing for, is straight line of sight.
And I've also got to point out, guys, literally what you see on screen is slope angle measurements, not curve.
Rise over run.
Ground, yeah, rise over run. Ground has what we call topography. Notice you cannot do these measurements over water. You know why? Because water, when seeking rest, finds level, which means horizontal. I mean, these guys are so stupid. They think measuring incline and slope angles means it's a globe. Really insane.
So I would love to see a measurement of.
It's like taking a soccer field and measuring a soccer field and saying, you see, I've surveyed the soccer field and it shows having a slope of 0.1 degrees, so therefore the earth is curved. Okay. Well done, mate.
Yeah.
Which doctor which number can I give you first? Which head doctor can I send you to?
Right. It didn't have anything to do with the fact that there is a slight grade put on a soccer field, so for drainage, so you don't have water sitting in the middle of the field after it rains and shit,
Exactly.
Wow. You realize that there were equipment that came in and did that, right? Jesus
Yeah, they
Christ.
actually had to level it out and then actually construct slope into it.
Yep.
Flat Earth.
These guys are.
Here's another one from let's see. Well, here's some laser test pictures from FE Core. I just threw these in here to show why laser tests are inaccurate. You can see that bending light there. Lasers refract just like any other light, so that needs to be taken in.
But then why do the lasers go up when they do their long distances?
And why
Your
are you
globe says
using
it's supposed to go down?
And why are you using a green laser? Green lasers are affected the most by temperature. That's why I don't have them on my rifles anymore. All red lasers.
Yeah, but this was FE Core though, one of theirs. But they did use a blue laser later. But even the blue laser, when they took it from high altitude photo, they showed it going up. So the whole issue, they wanted this to happen because they actually predicted this. Because they wanted to show that the refraction doesn't cause things to go down over a curve, it actually goes up. And the Globey still seem to be so stupid, they still present this as so-called evidence for their globe, where it literally bends the wrong way. It's because of morons, I swear.
Matthew Hall said, and I have the longest serving US Marine Corps sniper rifle, the Macmillan Sport Time. M1, whatever the numbers are, I think it is. And when I take long range shots, I do not account for any air spin, only power, velocity, over, and that's it. That's whatever is left of that.
Exactly. There's no earth curve for
distance, including the height differential, because bullets drop because they lose power. Nothing to do with spin.
It uses it uses energy. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, Matthew Hall. I swear, a lot of these people that try and talk about things like Coriolis or gravity and stuff don't actually even know what the hell they're talking about because, snipers can't account for it. That's insane.
The only thing is, listen, the only thing as far as that would be concerned, you got windage, you got elevation, but also at long distances with some rifles, you may have to account for bullet twist because the rotation of that bullet is going to make it drift a little bit in the direction of the twist.
Yeah.
I'll fuck up their whole thing and give them a Heckler and Koch, which has a twist in the opposite direction. Okay. That'll totally throw their whole Coriolis shit right out the window right there. It's got an opposite twist to it. So.
Yeah, but it's got Magnus. It's just got Magnus effect. It's due to the barrel roll. I mean, even when you take like the artillery on the ships and stuff, like the battleships, and they shoot for it, they even account for this this roll, this barrel roll, and this is what the Globey's claim. Oh, you see, accounting for Coriolis. No, it's literally just due to the movement of the of the bullet. You know, the projectile going through the long shaft. It's called physics, mate. But yeah, they don't get this.
And then scream science at the top of their lungs.
Exactly, but they don't know what science is. That's a given.
Which it never was in the FE core demonstrations. And they show things like this, which they claim proves flat Earth, yet they don't show the non-distorted image like this on the right, right?
That looks distorted to me. I don't know. You guys...
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe there's something wrong with my eyes, but I do see distortion in that image.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
And he literally brings up an image that debunks his globe claim. Tell us how you don't understand the Black Swan argument without telling us. I mean, what about the other ones where it shows also having much less distortion and the horizon still behind? This is called foreshortening, McGlobeFace. You know that small. Remember when I showed you earlier with the stapler? This water wave close, it looked big. That oil rig far. It's called foreshortening, not Earth curve.
Flatzoid, I have a great photograph that I've been able to actually get through with people to show foreshortening. If you want to see it real quick.
Yeah. We're great.
All right.
Exactly, Nathan. Arguing about the quality, the argument about the horizon.
Okay, so you see the rose is actually not that big.
Unfortunately, I can't really show that.
Oh, she's dressed. She's dressed. I showed it on my show. It's no biggie. There's a rose in the background, the same size, right next to the girl. We know that the rose is not the same size as her head.
No, definitely not.
But it's obviously closer in the photograph, so it's going to appear to be bigger. Now, this only once you get into really heavy duty zoom, though, now you can bring objects. They'll look like they're right next to each other, just like these two objects do. When they used to show President on TV when I was a kid, I was like, here he is giving the State of the Union, and here's the Speaker of the House and the Vice President. They're like right on his shoulders. They're right here. You know, they're right like they could reach up and tap him on the shoulder. But then when they cut to another camera view, you look, and those guys are sitting a good 20 feet behind him. But they appeared to be right next to him, right up against him, because of that foreshortening and what happens with telephoto optics with your field of view. You change that as well. This is used a lot of times in movies. Have you ever seen it where they'll have a dramatic part where the guy comes to a realization? He goes, "Oh my God, you know, you know," and you see the background
is moving
back, but the guy stays there, but the background zooms away like that. That's done with the same type of optics.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a brilliant effect as well. Yeah, absolutely.
The dolly effect. It's called the dolly effect. Yeah.
Look at these cranes over here. They look like a funhouse mirror, right? Obviously, there's heavy refraction going on there, but they'll never show you the clear observation day like this. Here's the measurement I skipped. It was the main surveyor.
No,
you can go check out his stuff.
You had it on.
Here you can say, I just show you that there's a link to the full YouTube video of him doing it, but the result was 180 degrees, 17 minutes. I'm sorry, 17.1 seconds. So this was, again, over 180 degrees, which proves that there is a tilt between those two objects. Okay.
That 17.1 degrees was based on corrections they placed to make it more than 180 degrees. Oh, man. The ignorance. Literally based on corrections made for a belief in a globe. if they didn't make those corrections for a globe, there wouldn't be over 180 degrees. He does know this, right?
See what YouTube said on here? A flare stack being there would explain the cranes or why the cranes are bendy as well.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I didn't even think about that.
Exactly.
And this can be done repeatedly and consistently. Okay. There is no flat Earth evidence. In conclusion, thank you.
Wow, that was a abysmal presentation, man.
So confident as well. So confident.
And he's so confident about it. Exactly. That's like Dunning-Kruger, epitome of Dunning-Kruger, man.
Yeah, he's not even self-aware of how wrong he is at all.
Somebody, yeah, something.
Wow.
All right. Well, with that, we will kick it an open
Now it's gonna
discussion,
get exciting.
and we will move into beauty back and forth if we get too much crosstalk, because we know this is going to be an exciting one. So if you're hanging out in the live chat, smack that like button like it owes you money, because we appreciate it when you guys beat it around. That's really awesome. And big thanks to all of our mods hanging out in the chat right now. We also really appreciate you guys and your efforts. So let's get into open discussion. Over you, Austin. Let's kick it.
Okay, yeah. First of all, it's funny the laser you showed, the lights bending up, and actually FE Court counted for the refractive index and knew it was going to be bending up and specifically predicted it based on the index and then observed it. But you guys need to claim that it's bending down and going around the Earth. But whatever. I think this is the bigger part to talk about, Rafes. You say they never show any measurements. Did you miss the part where like all engineering use plane survey measurements? Would you agree that we use plane survey measurements as if the Earth is flat?
No, I disagree.
Go ahead.
In fact, Baron Rutledge is a surveyor.
Bradley Rutledge is a surveyor, says. Okay, well, if he told you they don't use planar surveying, he lied to you. Or you lying. Or maybe he's not a surveyor.
Listen, I've never met so many surveyors, airline pilots, and nautical navigators as I have on social meia. I'd never run into them before until I get on, and boy, they're in there. I'm some such and such engineer. I'm an airline pilot, and I'm like, no, you're in a basement eating a hot pocket. Stop.
Yeah, but you see, the problem is when you actually try and
famous.
when you actually try and test them on their so-called claims, then it should no, what you're claiming definitely doesn't fit. It's really insane. I mean, I've had so much people saying, yeah, I'm like this physics PhD or something coming in, and you ask them a simple basic physics questions and they don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah, that's how you test.
I ran into that last night with a guy who's claimed to be PhD, and I very quickly realized that no, and if you do, it's a nonsense PhD. Come to find out, it was in theology, and he didn't know shit about that either. So,
or he took a statistics course in college or something.
Surveying shows exactly.
It's insane. They think because they got a PhD in anything. I mean, you can have a PhD in toilet roll making. Does that make you an expert on things now?
It stands for piled high and deep.
It's just their way of trying to say, I'm smart kind of thing, because I got a PhD.
You're not very smart.
Some of the most dumb people on earth have PhDs.
Yep. A degree is only as good as the stupidest person that holds one. So keep that in mind.
You can go to companies. You can go to companies today, and you can see when people have PhDs, okay? And literally, they don't know what they're doing, because what you do in actual getting your PhD is usually 90% of the time not the same as actually getting the experience in the job. I know people that don't have qualifications that know more than the people that do have qualifications.
Well, and I have to look at it like this, bro. You went into massive debt to learn shit. And the information's freely available to you. So you basically bought a piece of paper.
Exactly. You made yourself into debt for that.
Yep.
That doesn't make you very smart, does it?
No.
Hey, thank you, Roger Ledwell, for your $2 super chat, mate. Really, really appreciate it. Holy modern day horse hoke hockey. Thank you very much for your support, man. Appreciate it. You rock.
Yeah, Jolly man, that's what they believe, though, isn't it? Jolly man said, sadly at school, I was told by an adult that if a strong enough laser existed, it could follow the curve of the Earth due to gravity and return to the rear of said laser. Not kidding. Yeah, believe though, isn't
The
it?
telescope.
Crazy.
And then thank you, Matthew how do you say De Gregorio? I hope I'm saying that right. Thank you very much for your $5 super chat. Salute to you too, man. It's good to see you here.
What 1 minute? A powerful enough laser to go around Earth. What circumference of Earth? But yet they claim that they bounce them off moon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
Sure, they do.
These are the same people that claim you can bounce lasers off the sun to come back, and it's a black body.
Yeah, I think 26,000 miles is a bit different to
Who said that? I'd like to have a chat with them.
Yeah, but my point being is that they were saying if they had a powerful enough laser, well, they claim they own with lasers, like so. Of course it is. So why isn't this being shown?
And if you had a big enough telescope, you should be able to see your own ass. Yeah, big deal.
Well,
good luck.
It must be the gravity of the moon pulls the laser beam to it, but somehow lets it bounce
Elastic
back.
laser beam.
Yeah, that's it. Listen, school is not a place for smart people. I'm just going to leave that. You know,
it's not. It's not.
Yeah. Thank you again, Matthew, for your super chat, mate. Salute
You
to
said
you.
a mouthful with that one, bro.
All these things, and he does not assume a flat Earth in the calculations. So saying they're assuming flat Earth in these calculations is absolutely nonsense.
So plane surveying doesn't treat the Earth like it's flat. It actually accounts for curvature.
Yeah, basic formulas account for curvature, and even if it didn't, that's still not a measurement of flatness. That's assuming over short.
It literally is. Wow. Planar surveying is literally measurement of flat. Literally.
It's why it's called. What kind of surveying is it again?
Planar and surveying.
Sounds like cognitive dissonance to me. But,
yeah. So he's claiming they literally do not take an instrument and literally do not measure an angle. Kind of sounds like Bev to me.
Yeah. You gotta watch them too. They interchange the word geodesic and geodetic all the time.
Oh, they love doing that. Exactly. That's very slimy of them because they do catch people out like that.
Yep. They got me for a little bit, and then I was like, wait a minute.
Distance is that something is negligible.
Wait, there's a difference?
I know what you're trying to say, right? But why does geodetic surveying take into account curvature in everything they do, right?
Wait, you're diverting away.
Okay, first of all, I've got to correct him. Geodetic survey doesn't take into account curvature. They assume curvature. They take consideration of curvature of an ellipsoid model after planar surveying is done. So they literally hinge off of planar measurements. And then because they believe in a globe, they consider calculations to be spherical. So they take those straight lines and they say they are curved.
Okay, so first you made the claim that there are no flat Earth measurements, and because it sounds good, you guys always say that, but there specifically are. All engineering uses plane survey, and I can read it right here. Quote, plane surveying is a survey in which the Earth's surface is assumed to be a plane and curvature of the Earth is ignored.
Yeah, you're reading
this is used for up to
talking
100
point off Google. Okay, that's not a source.
What? This is
it's not a source.
Civil engineering textbook.
What? It's
really?
not a source.
What is the civil engineering textbook?
Civil engineering planar textbook's not a source. But he can use people like Jesse Kozlowski.
Well, then all of our degrees and all of those degrees you guys hold aren't worth the crap.
No, but do you understand? He's saying Witsit cannot use a civil engineering textbook as a source, but he can use a YouTuber as a source.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. Absolutely.
And notice notice the moderator doesn't say anything.
Oh no, he's just drinking whatever he's drinking there.
You're gonna find that Globey's actually drinking vodka. That's what he has in that cup, and that's why you'll see him get more belligerent and start
As it
saying
goes
more
down.
stupid shit.
But that's why he can't concentrate. I think the cognitive pain's too much for him. I think because they keep throwing him into the flat earth moderations because it's just maybe getting too much for him.
Because I can.
No, I was talking about Globey. I was talking about Globey's drinking.
Globey McGlobeFace. No, I just think his brain's fried.
Oh no, I mean for real. He actually says that that's what he's drinking.
Yeah, he does do that, but I think his brain's fried more than
sure.
the drinking actually something.
But you'll see him get more belligerent as he goes on. I was studying that. I was like, watch, he'll get more belligerent, and his comments start making less sense than they did before.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy. Okay, let's go on.
Manual right now that tells differently.
All right, so it's a civil engineering textbook, and we're like 4 sources on here. I'll show it. I'll link it. But this is what's so funny. This is obvious. Your model claims like, oh, the curvature is so small that it's basically negligible. So when you look over long distances and assume that there's curvature, right, by actually cherry picking the data and then accounting for refraction and changing the R value, that is a measurement. But when it's more accurate at shorter distances using the exact same method, that is not a measurement. Is that correct? That's what you just said. Right?
That's exactly what I said.
How is it more accurate at shorter distances?
How is it more accurate at shorter distances?
What?
I don't know. The tolerances are much less.
Looks smaller.
Wow.
Let me put it this way. If I take a ruler, okay, let's say the ruler is 10 centimeters long, and I lie it down and I measure 10 centimeters with that ruler. It's very accurate, correct? Now, if I take that same 10 centimeter ruler and lay it edge upon edge upon edge and upon edge for 100 meters, is it going to be as accurate that it was when I started just having it just 10 centimeters from it?
You probably have a circle.
Of course not. Yeah, exactly. You'll end up with a
I mean,
circle.
you can have it going a bit left or a bit right, or it's not lined up exactly 100% next to each other. There's so many ways you can botch it, in other words. So yeah, smaller is always better, right? Or more accurate. Wow. And if we're measuring optically, which they do, you have less atmo to look through, less refraction, less optical effects to contend with. So you have less corrections for everything. It's not hard to understand.
Why would that be a thing?
Because the accuracy of like a theodolite is much more accurate at shorter distances. This is why when we build things, we build them in small, like 100 to 200 feet increments of measurements because it ensures accuracy. Because as you increase turbulence of the medium in different types of conditions, right? The longer distance, you have to account for that more. That's why when they actually build things, they measure it in very small increments. So it's well known, and every surveyor will tell you that obviously the shorter increment measurements are the most accurate ones.
That's because as you get further away, the curvature becomes more pronounced.
No, you just said, why would it be more accurate?
See why I said his brain's fried?
Yeah, because he can't keep his statements together.
Does he understand what he just said?
Right now in his head, there's the abort, retry, fail sign keeps coming up, and he can't get rid of it. He's clicking OK, and it won't go away, man. Error 404.
I was thinking it was a de-evolve button.
Fucking guy, man. Wow.
But I mean, wow. I mean, the guy literally just made his Witsit point. It's like, what?
Yeah. This guy.
What? Yes. So what's your point?
So you can see that the shorter measurements are more accurate.
Yes, shorter measurements are always more accurate, especially.
And
why do
you say why would they be more? Why do you say why would they be more accurate? And
please answer the question. Why?
That's what he did say. What's his problem?
He just did answer him. He answered his own question too.
It's
See,
like
this,
he's trying to
this
deny
is
it.
where moderators lacking.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely.
Over longer distances, do we use geodetic survey?
Oh, because people assume the Earth's a sphere.
It's assumptions. So when they build long distance things,
Yes, it's literally assumption. That's what it's
Yeah.
literally the definition of geodetic survey. Assumption of a Earth curve. What?
It says right here on Wikipedia that it's the science of measuring and representing the geometry, gravity, and spatial orientation of the Earth in temporally varying 3D. That's
Yeah,
what
but
I
if
got.
you have to look at the difference between planar and geodetic survey,
Yep.
it literally says geodetic surveying assumes the Earth to be curved. An assumption. It's a correction they make based on assuming it to be a globe.
Yep.
we just have to assume things are curving to get them right.
Nope.
Like long distance tunnels.
No. So even when we build
Yes.
bridges, tunnels.
Tunnels don't curve, Globey. They wouldn't work if they were curving all the time. I mean, let's think it this way. If you're going to make a tunnel through a mountain. Yeah, I mean, let's put it this way. If you're going to make a tunnel through a mountain, for instance, what's the shortest distance through a tunnel? Is it going curving down or is it a straight path?
It's a straight line.
Straight line.
Yeah.
And usually when they build tunnels, it's from either side. You do a curvy tunnel, and rather than straight, there's got to be a few problems.
It's going to cost a lot more money to do, take a lot more time and effort, and
yeah,
really odd.
All of that for all engineering for 100 square miles.
Bridges are known to be diverting from each other.
No, they aren't.
Wow.
What? That's a lie.
Wow.
Bridges don't diverge. What nonsense is the guy talking?
Supports on a bridge do, don't they? Slightly, I think, because that's that.
If you have a tension bridge like the Verizon.
Yeah, tension. Yeah.
And then a lot of bridges are curved anyway because to allow boats under them, like.
Yeah, but that doesn't make Earth curve. It's literally too much. I mean, like the Verizon bridge they love bringing up. It's called a tension bridge. If you know your physics, it literally needs tension to hold up. That's why it leans. It's like
like the Golden Gate.
Yeah, it's like the same
But
as
the Dunbarton Bridge, on the other hand, the Dunbarton Bridge is flat. It's right on the surface of the water all the way across, and it's like 3 or 4 miles long. So and it doesn't curve. It just does on the edges of the road in order for water to shed, but that's about it. It goes straight.
Yeah, I mean, it's like thinking. Have you guys ever played tug of war before?
Yeah.
Now imagine only one side is pulling and the other side's not pulling. What's going to happen? You won't have tension. There's not going to happen anything.
Yeah.
That's what the tension's there. That's what's called a tension bridge. So like the Verizon bridge, it has to lean to give tension, to give structural support for the bridge.
Yeah.
It's really insane. Thank you, Roger Ledwell, for your $5 super chat, mate. I really, really appreciate your support. He says, if you drink on the job, you get more accurate you get. I love the wording. If you drink on the job, you get more accurate you get. Oh, wow. Thank you very much for the super chat, Roger. You rock, man. Oh, wow. That's brilliant.
Hours. So that's a non-point. Again.
Are you okay? So we use plane
I'm
survey.
Okay. You're making things up. The towers of the Verrazano Bridge, for example.
Oh, he brings it up. There you go.
Divert away from each other.
Yeah.
Measurably. The same way I just showed you the measurements of these theodolites diverting away from each other.
Because of tension and the amount of diversion in the bridge is nowhere close to what the curvature of the Earth would be. The fact you guys still run around saying that the 3 millimeters of diversion is Earth curvature is pretty funny. You guys didn't just go do the math and prove that has nothing to do with Earth curvature. It's based on the actual structural integrity of the bridge and the tension.
I'm glad he brought it up. Well done, Witsit.
Good play. Right, Lewis,
You're running away.
It's architectural. There's a reason it's architectural. We had to, our woodshop class, when I was in junior high, it was really cool. Our project was you had to make a suspension bridge, and whoever made the strongest suspension bridge was able to, they won the prize. I forget what it was. But at the end of the project, everybody had all different manners of structures built, and they would put those things into a press and measure how much force it took before the bridge collapsed. I didn't win that one, but I sure as hell learned a lot. Sure as hell learned a lot about how these structures are built and why they're built the way they are. When they put a curve into a bridge, it's not for earth curvature, it's structural.
Exactly.
Okay? And if it's a straight bridge, you'll see that the passage going underneath is constructed of arches, not for clearance.
To prevent it from sagging. Yeah.
That's all. It's not because of earth curvature or anything like that. So if you've got a suspension bridge and you've got the pylons are pulled apart slightly like that, it's not due to earth curvature. It's for structural integrity because the middle is going to be the heaviest portion. So it's given that strength, it's pulling on it.
So I say, these people don't really think further than their head. I don't know.
Hey,
please show me a reference on that.
I want you to acknowledge.
Please show me a reference on that.
Wait up. I want you to acknowledge we absolutely do have flat Earth measurements because we measure. Plane survey measures the Earth as if it's flat for engineering.
That's not a flat Earth measurement.
That's precisely a flat Earth measurement.
Damn, man.
Can you show us planar measurements that don't measure the Earth flat? I mean, literally, by definition, a planar survey measures with the assumption that everything's flat. It's literally what they say.
It's in the name. It's in the freaking name. It's the adjective that comes before survey. What kind of survey? Planar surveying. Oh, what is planar? As related to a plane. What's a plane? Is that a ball? No, it's not. It's a flat surface. Jesus, criminally.
That's an assumption because over a certain amount of
Austin, just because you have had the floor for a little bit here, so
see what I'm saying, Ryan. You first thing you pop in, you're stopping Witsit. Witsit is correct.
Oh my goodness! I turned away for a second, then he's stopping Witsit.
He stopped Witsit.
We started talking. Wow.
Witsit is correct, yeah. And he's stopping Witsit to talk.
No doubt.
Let's let Globey have a chance here to respond.
He just interrupted me.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said. Witsit was talking. Globey interrupted him.
Over a certain distance, shorter distances, there are assumptions you can make that Earth, when I'm building a deck, I don't need to include the Earth's curve measurements. It's irrelevant.
He debunked himself as well then. So you don't need to include it, so therefore it's not there. Well done. So that's flat measurement. I mean, let's put it this way. If you're measuring a part on your porch to build a porch and you're not taking curve into account, would that be flat measurement?
Yeah, you're going to be making it level.
Yeah, it's called leveling.
I mean, by very definition of level, no point higher or lower than any other. That's level. And even a small amount of curvature, an eighth of an inch of difference between one end of something and the other end of something is, guess what? Not level. And you can tell it's not level. Even if your instrument doesn't show, you can actually pour water on it and see which way the water runs. There you go. Water again being an indicator. So even just a slight amount of difference is going to take something out of level. This is why we try to be as precise as possible. You get a structure too big and it's out of, if something's out of level and it's starts going up in height, you succumb to a thing called subsidence. The building will eventually drift and want to fall in the direction of where it's lower. It just happens. So you have to be very careful about leveling your foundation.
Roger Ledwell, thank you again for your $2 super chat, mate. He says, sorry about the bad grammar. I think Roger's drinking more just because how stupid the arguments are. Oh, man. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate your super chat. You rock all the sport. But yeah, why is Ryan stopping Witsit and then Globey gives such an idiotic statement? And really,
it's annoying, isn't it? Especially
when if you were to actually measure it, you could measure it. For example, the example I just showed you, right? That was 7,000 feet. That was a little over a mile. Okay? That measured 1 minute and 7 seconds of arc. Do you know how small that is?
Yeah, I understand.
I'm not sure you do, Austin.
Yeah, but
you wouldn't need to account for 1 minute and 7 seconds of arc when you're building a deck at your house or a building.
That's what you say, but over 10 miles, over 10 miles, over 10 miles, obviously it's.
Why are you over talking him, Ryan? What's talking is he's talking. Have you realized that? So why is he talking?
Going to be important, certainly when it's 100 square miles, which means 10 miles in each direction from where you're starting. So that would be significant feet of curvature drop that you completely neglect in reality, according to all plane survey and engineering documents, textbooks, and even government documents talking about engineering. This is basic stuff. So all engineering up to 100 square miles completely neglects the notion that the earth is curving and uses plane survey. That would be flat earth measurements if you're claiming that you can use the same instrument way further outside of the accuracy range, and then somehow that's a curved earth measurement, right? So stop saying that.
Why is it outside of the accuracy range? What are you talking
about? Man, this guy's asking dumb questions.
He doesn't do it.
Okay, let's try and make an analogy. Let's say you got a revolver and you're shooting a target, let's say 10 meters away from you. You can quite with good certainty say it's okay, accurate. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But now take that same target and move it now 150 meters away. How accurate are you going to be with that same round, with that same gun? Be much more difficult because the target's angular size is much smaller now.
Yeah, with practice, you'll do it, but it's probably harder. You have to practice it. You know what I mean?
So now you got to make corrections for lifting the gun up, the revolver up. You got to try and work out there's windage differences, angular sizes more. So you got to squint your eyes a bit to see the target better. Really?
Well, this is why we use a scope. And like, for instance, I sight my scopes in at 100 yards, right? Mm-hmm. And there's these little things on the crosshairs that we call mill dots, right?
Yeah.
And what those are little equal increments that that you're going to get some dropping. So you actually use that. So now I transpose that dot on the vertical line as to be the center of my crosshair now. And that raises the elevation. It'll go likewise the other way, and then you can do it with your windage. You know how much to move it for a certain distance because of your windage, but it's based on where you hit the last time.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's got nothing to do with curve or Coriolis. I mean, you take windage into account because there's more wind. Mm-hmm. Wind can be different 10 meters in front of you than it is 100 meters away from you. And it can even change direction. Mm-hmm. And then you got, like you say, you going further. So there's going to be a difference in drop because it uses energy. I mean, the bullet doesn't keep the same energy as soon as it leaves the barrel. It literally depletes that energy. Mm-hmm. And that's why you can only have a limit to what you can shoot the bullet at.
Well, and that's why you have two different readings for it. You have like with a maximum effective range and then a maximum range. So like an average 22 can fire a bullet about a mile, but it's not very effective at that mile. It's just barely doing anything. The energy's already been expended. So it's only for a shorter distance effectively.
Yep.
We just covered that it's way more accurate at shorter distance, and you conceded to that, right?
depends on what you're measuring. This theodolite in this observation here was a T2 Herrenberg, and it's accurate up to 20 miles.
Wait. Did you or did you not agree that shorter measurements are more accurate?
You're just conflating the issue now. This theodolite is accurate up to 20 miles.
But it's more accurate at closer distances, Globey. How is this so hard to understand?
Okay, that's
okay.
This is what's a fact, right? Say with your reciprocal zenith angle, since you obviously won't concede that we do have flat Earth measurements objectively because we have
you don't.
All geodetic surveying, what it does is it takes the plane survey data and it stitches it together to get the distances in the first place, and then they look out over distances and make separate measurements, assuming the Earth's a curved surface, right? And then they apply a curvature to it. This is a fact. The way we have distances is plane survey measurements. We don't measure distances with geodetic surveying.
Exactly.
We actually use the plane survey data, stitch it together, and then you guys go out there and use geodetic surveying, right? Assuming it's a sphere. And then what you have to do is cherry pick the data, use a weighted mean within a certain threshold of a predetermined window. Then you weight the mean, you assume a refraction value. The guy you invoked, Jesse Kowalski or whatever his name is, I debated him and he admitted to me that if he didn't cherry pick the data, his R value would have been way too big.
Guarantee he didn't admit anything of the sort.
Oh no, guarantee he did. It was live on a debate, Globey. That's just you saying nah.
Short to you, but anyway,
You literally did.
Can you explain to me how we measure these things over these distances, and why are we measuring these drops over these distances?
You're not measuring drops, you're calculating them, Globey. There's two different things. Measuring and calculations are two different things.
Okay, sure.
And why do they match? Why do they match the curve of the Earth?
They don't. So this is what.
Thank you very much, Roger Ledwell, for another $5 super chat, man. Really, really appreciate everything. He says, how can you be a tool if you don't know now they work? Exactly. Yeah, how can you be a tool if you don't know now they work? I love your spelling, mate. Yeah, exactly. How can you use a tool if you don't know how it works? I think that's what you're trying to say. But thank you very, very much. That's true. The guy doesn't know how the tools work. Globey is just taking cues from YouTubers like Jesse Kalowski and stuff, and then therefore means now he's an expert on this, dude. But thank you very much for your super chat. Appreciate it. And another super chat from November for $5 super chat. Thank you very much. He says, Dave, do you only have Globers on to argue with? Because I was thinking of jumping on when you were getting double teamed by those two insufferable idiots.
No, I was going to do a part 2 on this very debate, and I've ended up having to change the name. Got first visit. I'd never seen this guy. What was his name? Glober Bob or some shit like that. And then he had Joe Cool, who has been on there before. And I got to tell you, man, it was like when somebody made a comment about having to dumb down, to be able to talk to him. It's insane. But yeah, feel free to jump on next time, man. I have I have the paid version of the StreamYard, so I can I've had like 9 people on before.
How much did you pay for the paid version though? Because I was thinking maybe I should do it.
I don't remember.
I want to get rid of this. I want to get rid of this StreamYard logo in there.
I don't remember right offhand, but it's not. It isn't really expensive. It really isn't. And it's definitely
it's a yearly subscription or something.
Yeah, and there's different tiers to it. Like I'm allowed to have 50 hours of storage time there.
That doesn't bother me though.
And then I can bring that in. And I don't know, I just find it really easy to use. And like if I'm using OBS or something and my system reboots on me or something like that, I'm done. Right.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's why I'm mostly on StreamYard these days, because OBS is just, I don't know, it's very unpredictable. It just changes settings on its own and stuff like that. So I'm finding it much more stress relieving just to do StreamYard. It's just more simple.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy to do screen shares. It's easy to, if you want to have like a funky background like I got, I mean, you can do that. And you just don't have like all the bells and whistles that some of the OBSs do, where somebody so-and-so subscribed and you got all these little jingle jangles and shit that happen. I don't need all that,
Wait, so if you pay for it, you get rid of the StreamYard logo. You can have something else there instead. Oh,
you can
cool.
stick your own logos in,
Yeah, I put my own logo up there, yeah.
Oh, so if Roger says sorry, he's using his phone. That's why he's doing all the mistakes and all that.
Yeah. I had it up on screen.
Oh, did you? Okay, got it.
Yeah, I sympathize. I feel your pain. Fat thumbs. I can't. I type shit and it's like, just run it through Google Translate. Something will come out. I don't know.
I can just picture him with a Nokia 9310 in his hand.
What's also very funny about it. So when you actually look into reciprocal zenith angles, they almost never match the actual claimed divergence of the globe. Exactly. And if they're on a small distance, right, it's barely any. And then they claim that refraction messes with it. And I've heard people try to say that refraction doesn't, but I have the Journal of Geophysical Research right here, 2010, talking about how the vertical temperature gradients between 0.5 and 0.1 km during the day and 1 to 2 km shortly after sunset, that it reduces the variability of K to the range of -2 to +5. Our results show
it doesn't help saying that to Globey. He doesn't have a clue what you're saying, mate.
That frequently used Gaussian refraction coefficient of plus 0.13 is not suited for describing refraction effects in the lower atmosphere. Specifically, the reciprocal zenith angles are affected by refraction. Of course, you're hijacking optics, and it doesn't actually match the globe. You have to add refraction and say, well, it's close enough. This is the globe Earth still, man. And then I'll let you go. It is, well, yeah, but it shouldn't be diverging at all. Sure, it doesn't actually match the globe exactly, but it shouldn't be diverging at all. So you agree it doesn't actually match the globe, right? Like you have to doctor it and take weighted means. And
I agree. You're telling me what I agree on.
So you agree with Witsit. So your whole argument's then debunked. Well done.
You know what he's eating, Flatzoid?
Salad.
Yeah, and you know why? It's a cheap shot. Because he makes mention of it. He says, yeah, I'm just eating my word salad. I'm just eating my word salad. It was a cheap shot. That's why he was doing it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm asking.
Sorry, I'm just eating some word salad here.
For the word salad. Now I get what you're saying. That's his cheap shot. He just better said some more word salad. So in other words, what did we say in the beginning? When you say word salad, it means you don't know what the guy's talking about.
Right. What'd you say?
Yep.
It's literally a concession. The guy is ignorant to the subject. Wow.
Dumber than a bag of hammers.
It's crazy. Wow.
Well, at least a bag of hammers.
Name one thing I said that was word salad. Can you define word salad?
Sorry, what's that? Did you say something wrong?
I said at least a bag of hammers you can drop on somebody.
That's true. Let's see if he knows what word salad is.
When you just say random words that don't mean anything because you're reading them on the screen and don't understand what you're saying.
That's
you
not
just
word
made up a new.
That's not word salad.
New definition of word salad. So can you? What specifically did I say?
When you
that
make
was
up words and put them all together and make them sound like something.
But word salad's incoherent rambling that doesn't have any meaning.
Yeah. Can you explain what you just said?
And everything he just said was literally on point to the subject, and
I don't get
was not
it,
incoherent. And wasn't rambling.
Said then in simple terms for all of us.
Yeah, I did already. There's refraction.
No, you didn't. You read off your screen. Can you explain?
He's looking at you while he's saying this, by the way. Read off the screen. Oh wow.
There's both. No.
And by the way, reading off the screen doesn't make it word salad. Roger Ledwell again for another $2. Thank you very much. Planet New Orleans. I'm not sure what that references to, but Thank you very much for the super chat, man. Really appreciate it. He says, iPhone 3, really small keypad. Yep. I remember when I had my iPhone 5 even. It was very small. I must say, the iPhone 11, I mean, this is the iPhone 11. Actually, very nice. Nice size. It's not too small, which does help.
Do you remember before there was a keyboard when it was just a digital pad, like with 10 or 12, 12? Yeah, remember that when you had to push each button 2 or 3 times to get the right letter?
Change exactly. It was like, that was the days, man.
Yeah, that's where I'm.
I explained it. There's both vertical and lateral refraction that happens in the atmosphere, admittedly, right? Even accounting, you have to account for these in your reciprocal zenith angles. I talked to Jesse specifically about the measurements you're invoking. I debated him about them. He admitted that you have to account for refraction. He said that when you account for refraction and you take a predetermined window, so any measurement that falls outside of that, you don't count them. Then you add a weighted mean to what you do take the measurements down as. So you're.
I wish Witsit would have asked Globey. Do you even know what a weighted mean is?
Can I just say to Lou, if let's say, for example, gravity is a theory. Gravity is not even a theory. You need to be able to test something to be able to have it for it to be a theory. You can't test for gravity, so it's not even a theory. It's a concept.
Yeah, exactly. Why do they always claim gravity to be a scientific theory if there's never been any science for it?
Exactly.
Hey, Thomas Lawson, thank you very much for your 50 coronas. I think it's coronas. Danish coronas, correct?
Yeah, Danish coronas, yeah.
Thank you very, very much, man. I really appreciate it. It says plane surveying, it's in the name. Exactly. Plane. I think it's very, very simple. Not hard to understand. I appreciate the support, man. Appreciate everybody, by the way. Please hit the likes if you haven't already. Share the show. It really, really does help. I think we can maybe go on another 15 minutes. Is that okay with you guys tonight?
Yeah, man.
Yep.
We can do a part 2, obviously. Because, wow, this is like
about
insane.
10 parts of this.
Yeah. This dude's obnoxious, isn't he?
There's only so much a person... Yeah, there's only so much a person can take of this Globey McGlobeFace guy.
He gets worse.
Yeah, and I know why they call him that. I get it.
Dude, I mean, who calls herself that? Right?
He does.
I know. I mean,
that's what I asked. I said, who the hell names themselves that? Like Ranty. Why would you name yourself Ranty? What the hell kind of a name is that?
Didn't there used to be like a flat face?
Yeah, there was.
Not same guy.
I think he
flipped.
Maybe it was the same guy. I don't know. I just don't see the. I don't even care about his name. I just care about his whole demeanor here. He's very dishonest.
Yeah, man.
I think
very, very dishonest.
Reeks of it, man. Just even his body language, you can tell he's just like he's squirrely, man. Yeah, squirrely.
He has a very McToonish or an MC Toonish like to.
You're cherry picking. You're already cherry picking just the window you presuppose the globe would predict.
Are you sick of having issues with?
No, but I'm sick of Globey McGlobeFace.
That's Dana.
To put a weighted mean, so the closest to the globe prediction gets the highest weight, right? The most weight, get your average, then you account for refraction. And he said if you get within like 85%.
Do you know if you're not doing that globe mean, you're not going to get anywhere close to their radius value they're looking for. Like as in nowhere, because that's the foundation. It's literally sending the benchmark.
It's considered a success. I asked him then, what would happen if you didn't throw out the other measurements? He said, oh, the radius value you would get would be way too big.
Mm-hmm.
So that is objectively what they do, right? So that's just begging the question, reifying the globe model, many other things. It's cherry picking.
So if they get within 88% of the accuracy that they expected, they accept it. That's what you're saying?
They have to fluctuate it by 15 to 20% on average after throwing out most of the measurements, and then they get within 85%.
Oh, they throw out most of the measurements. That's weird because he showed all of his measurements.
No, he specifically explains that he writes down the ones within his predetermined window and assumes error or extreme conditions if it falls outside that window. That's just what they do, man.
That's it. There's no need to come on here and lie like this.
He's not lying, Globey. That's called projection, mate.
That's their go-to. That's when they don't have anything else. You're lying. That's what they do every time, man.
You're lying or you don't
They always
understand.
accuse you of lying before they do. That way, it looks like you're the one to start.
Exactly. It's you're either lying or you don't understand, or it's word salad. That's what they say.
It's really,
that's all you got
really
is just to
kinda sad.
claim I'm lying. Okay, so
Yeah, you're claiming what you're claiming is all land surveyors are taking measurements, and then most of them are flat, and some of them don't make sense, and they just throw everything out and go, "Yeah, I like."
No, that's not what he said. That's literally not what he said.
You're claiming what he's claiming? What does that mean?
Shows you he can't even verbatim say back what Witsit said. It shows you he's not even listening to what Witsit said.
Work. I'm going to use those.
no, let me help you out here, man.
Earth's a globe.
They assume the Earth's a globe. They don't think they're doing anything other than trying to go out and make more accurate measurements of the globe they think they live on. We have a predicted range of where the measurement should be if we are on a globe, right? We have a predicted value for standard refraction. We go out there, we make our measurements, and then sometimes they fall outside of that predetermined window. It's called a tolerance. They just assume, they throw those out and assume there's some type of either user error or extreme conditions, because we know that based on the globe and standard conditions, it has to fit within this window. Okay. So they cherry pick that specific portion. And he told me if he didn't do that, the R value would be way too big. He point blank explained that.
You know what's weird though? I've watched land surveyors do it live on
TikTok. Well, I've watched fairies fly on TikTok. Yeah. Really.
Baron does it live on TikTok, and guess what? He's never done thrown out observations like you're talking about.
He never said he throws out observations. It's called cherry picking data to affirm your globe.
Yeah. My sources videos on TikTok.
Really? So he went out there and made a measurement live on TikTok and it immediately matched the globe. That's your claim?
Yeah.
Really? What was the refraction he accounted for?
Standard atmospheric refraction.
So standard atmosphere,
a few thousand feet. Yeah.
So you see the point though, is that a few thousand feet, it's not much divergence.
Yeah,
make sure that the audience understands it. Make sure the audience knows what we're talking about. If you're on a globe that's 25,000 miles in circumference, right? And then you drop a plumb line, which is just a vertical plumb bob on the Earth, right? On a flat Earth, it's perpendicular to the plane Earth. On the globe Earth, you can treat it like it's perpendicular to the plane Earth, but it's just a tangent and it's down relative to the center of mass. So as you increase distance away, they'll start diverging out on a globe. At 2,000 feet, that's basically nothing. That means it would basically diverge out like nothing.
Like nothing? Right? Like what's the measurement on nothing?
It's just an incredibly small amount.
But you know what we're talking about here, right? So what's the amount?
Incredibly small.
Okay, incredibly small. Okay, so it's so small you can't measure it, is what you're saying.
No. You could attempt to measure it, but it's known that refraction is so much stronger of a variable within that percent. That's a fact.
Within 1,000 feet, within 2,000 feet, refraction is almost negligible.
So almost. So it's still negligible. It's still there. Oh, okay. Literally a mute point, Globey. This guy is a waste of time. I swear, I don't know. Like, is this guy really all there?
I think he's just trolling.
Yeah. Could be. Well, with a name like Globey McGlobeFace, you know.
Sounds like a cartoon, man.
Yeah, he's got one of them haircuts that Soph keeps going on about as well. The old tuft at the front.
Yeah, it sounds like a name that someone would give someone to make fun of them.
Yeah,
I got the FTFE haircut.
I'll tell you, I got a poop emoji hat, right? And I'm going to do that and imitate these guys, man. I swear to God, I would have tempted because every one of them looks like somebody squeezed the top of their head between their butt cheeks and then pulled up.
Yeah. Wow.
No, it's not, dude.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so I guess that this Journal of Geophysics
Go
is
to Walter
wrong.
Bislin's calculator and put in 73.
Walter Bislin's.
Oh, wow.
He literally has a Journal of Geophysics, and you telling him he's wrong, so he can go to Walter Bislin.
He's a cliche, isn't he?
And put in standard atmospheric refraction and see what it gives you.
The Journal of Geophysics is wrong. So this is the truth of reciprocal zenith angle measurements, is that they don't ever actually match exactly what the globe predicts.
They don't even measure them at all. What's it? They're all calculated. There is no measured zenith reciprocal angles. They're all calculated.
When you make that small measurements, it's very small amounts, and it's never going to be exactly what the globe predicts, even though it's a very small amount.
Nothing's going to be exact.
Okay, but
that's not a fair requirement.
Oh, okay, cool. Now here's the main problem here. This is what you should be saying. But on a flat Earth, they shouldn't diverge at all. To make the claim that they match the globe, that's not true. You have to cherry pick the data and then weighted mean it based on the presupposed R value. That's how you get your.
Thank you very much, Rodolph. Another $2 super chat. He says the ball within ball.
Yeah.
Yep, that's true. I think these guys have. I think if they put their head down at night and they sleep, all they look at is, oh, my beloved ball. There's some kind of weird obsession with balls, guys.
I'd be interested to see how many of these guys, as babies, had a little planetary mobile that you get for a kid, and that's how they fell asleep every night looking at that thing, or every day at nap time, they'd look at that thing and see the little balls and planets and shit. And they're still seeing that, man.
It's insane.
Good.
But yeah, thanks for the super chat, Roger. Really appreciate it, man.
Weight that you apply to the measurements, then you use refraction, you move it around by assuming this is where it should be, this is how far off it is, there must be this much refraction. That's how it works.
How come nobody with a measurement device has gone out and measured this to be flat?
Planar surveyors, Globe. Literally planar measurements.
Well, we just talked about how everyone in the world has actually gone out to measure the Earth.
I didn't ask you about assumptions. Okay, I'm not talking about surveying assumptions.
It's not assumptions. Measurements. Wow.
Why didn't anybody take a device and go measure over a certain distance and say, "Yep, here's some flat Earth evidence"?
We have done that because we know the plane survey. We know the plane survey method works.
No,
because we use it for
not what
all
I'm
distances.
asking. You know that's not what I'm asking, Austin.
But you agree it works.
I agree. You can assume things are flat over short distances and still build something accurately.
And your
that's not
measurements
what
work.
I asked.
Awesome. And
That's
you
not
need
what
them
I
to.
asked.
You need them for distances.
Everybody knows that's not what I asked, Austin. Why has it never been measured?
It literally has planar measurements. What's so hard to understand? Hey Jeff, you back? What's up, man?
Hey.
I think they have this idea in their head that never mind. Go ahead. Never mind.
This idea that Earth's a ball.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to get around this manner of thinking that
the mental retardedness.
All right, so one of the things I hear them all say, well, what are your flat Earth physics? And I'm like, what do you mean? What are flat Earth physics? What are you talking about? And he says, and this guy was actually in the physics field. And I said, what do you mean? How would physics differ? Physics is physics. It's physical law. What are you talking about? And they somehow think that our world is magical and different than the world they experience. They experience the same world we do. They just think it's something that it's not. And they think that, oh, well, I actually had somebody on Facebook say, well, how would you know when your birthday is on a flat earth? And I'm like, what?
What? Really?
Wow.
Oh no. I mean, this is why I get a lot of the times when, especially when I debate things like space and stuff with Globies. And then they evoke different physics for space. Because you're like, here on Earth, we, for instance, need to show that gas pressure requires containment.
Yep.
And then their argument is, but we can have it different in space. Who says this physics is the same there than it is here? It's like, physics is physics, mate. Roger Ledwell again for another $2 super chat. He'd lose in court. Exactly. Thank you very, very much for your super chat. He would. Well, I don't think he
probably has too.
Yeah. Probably, yeah. Thank you very much, Roger. Really appreciate the super chat, mate. Yeah, I think he probably has. I don't think he would get very far in court. They would ask him, "You're supposed to present evidence, but so far you're not doing anything but just saying stuff."
How many ex-wives you reckon that guy's got?
Oh,
3.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Child support out the ass. You know. I mean, it fits the type. I'm seeing a stereotype here, man. I gotta stop.
It literally has.
Why haven't you gone and rented a theodolite, gone and done a measurement?
Why?
And proved the Earth is flat once and for all?
You know what? He literally just asked him where measurements, and what's it saying? Planar surveying does measurements. Now he's telling him, why don't you go and get a theodolite and do measurements? He doesn't need to. Planar surveyors do that for us. That's their job.
I would have said, what are you, a theodolite salesman or something? What's up?
There's
Gory says, yeah, sorry.
I just want to say something. It's kind of off topic, but not really. And it's something that no one actually can physically refute. And I keep iterating it, and people are just have a blank stare on their face, blank look on their face whenever I bring it up. Okay. Where I live, I can see Orion all year round. Okay. The constellation Orion is at the equator. Now, in June, where it sits, you're looking at Orion. It's at nighttime when you're seeing it. You can see it, and it does its rotation during the evening or whatever. Okay. In December, which is 180 degrees from where you were, which would be 180 degrees different direction of where you're facing. How can you see Orion still? I just don't understand how they don't get that. It's 180 degrees on the other side of the sun. Okay, you're on the other side of the sun now. You're facing another direction. You shouldn't be able to see Orion at all. Zero.
But you don't understand.
Refraction?
Jeff, you just said word salad. You just said word salad because you don't understand.
Yeah.
Gravity.
I just don't get it. It just floors me.
But I mean, think about it. If they literally don't get crossing the road and looking the opposite direction, only makes it appear to go the opposite direction. If they can't get that simple thing, you really think they're going to get why Orion cannot be seen at 180 degrees behind you?
That's a good point.
That must be.
That's a good point.
Oh, I'm supposed to have eyes in the back of my head?
I wonder how many of these guys have still gotten fooled by "I've got your nose."
Yeah. or the thumb trick.
He's removing his thumb.
Oh my God! Oh, he's taking his thumb off.
How's he doing that?
Yeah,
that's insane. But yeah, guys, I think we're going to end that here tonight.
Yeah.
All right. Cool,
I think it was a good show.
Yeah, it was decent.
Great show.
Yeah. I think we'll do part 2 tomorrow night. It's going to be great. We're going to have a nice stream again. And then we can obviously have a longer stream because 1 o'clock, I think it's 1 o'clock or 1:30 Saturday morning, I'm going to be on Zetetic Warriors channel. So we'll probably stream until then and then go on his channel, something like that.
Cool.
Going to be great. And then I'm going to be nice and tired at my son's birthday party.
Man, you about freaked me out. I went and saw, Flatzoid uploaded a video. I was like, oh, cool. So I clicked on it, and all of a sudden there's Flatzoid talking Spanish. And I'm like, what the hell?
I did the same.
You like that, huh?
I was like,
funny.
is that because of my VPN? What's going on? I was freaking out. I thought you were doing Spanish dubs. I was like, oh, shit.
As long as you guys enjoy it, because I was just wanting to put a feeler out to see if anybody's going to think it's
freaky. I know that much.
I actually thought it was you talking. I thought it was you speak.
So did I.
Because I want to do a French channel, a Portuguese channel, and a Spanish channel, because I want to get it out to further audiences. Because like I say, if you see the analytics, only 30% of audiences worldwide is from the US. This other 70% is outside the US. And most of them are not English speaking. Most of them are Portuguese and Spanish and French. So think about the new audiences we can reach.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
That's my plan, just to reach new audiences.
Yep.
Why not?
I'm waiting for the one in Japanese. That's going to be really
cool.
My daughter might be able to help you. She's taking it in high school.
So yeah, guys, I'm going to say thank you for coming. Really appreciate you all. I need to sleep. I've got to get up in a few hours for exercise. So definitely need some rest. I'll see you guys then all tomorrow for part 2. And you must have a great, awesome, blessed day and evening. And I appreciate everybody. Appreciate all the super chats. Appreciate all the likes and shares and all that great stuff. Thank you, people, for all your